I had no idea the British press was so bigoted.
This one's wife. Nobody knows who she is. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. An interesting article has appeared in page 6 which provides me with an opportunity to scrutinise it vis-à-vis the narcissism of this one's wife. The article by Sarah Nathan begins with the question, who is this one's wife? Well, you as educated Tudorites are able to answer that very easily. She is a narcissist. But let's find out whether they get this. Nobody knows who she really is, said a TV insider who had a glimpse at the show. The world created this image of who they think she is. Wrong. This one's wife has attempted to create an image that she wants to project to the world as to who she is. This is called the construct. And the construct creates a veneer when she's dealing with a person one-on-one and a facade when she's dealing with third parties. She has created an image as to who she wants the world to see her as that being this hugely attractive, massively intelligent, whip smart, famous lady with unrivaled business acumen, an individual that is a fashion icon, a brilliant authoress, an individual who creates captivating content, who is kind to animals and children alike, a wonderful as a mum, a devoted wife, aspiring politician, and all over conquering colossus. The evidence, however, doesn't support what she wants to show the world as to what she is, and instead what it does is it demonstrates quite clearly what she is by showing us through her behaviours. And we have seen that she is a narcissist, and that has been confirmed again and again and again by the behaviour that she's exhibited over the last few years. The article asks, is she a survivor, a victim, or the biggest thorn in the royal family's side? She's not a survivor, nor is she a victim, although she believes that she is, and she isn't a thorn in the royal family's side because they gave her no regard these days. They have, subject to expert advice, placed her in the position of persona non grata. Is this one's wife, as she has described herself over the past few years, the most trolled person in the entire world? Well, possibly, but trolling would suggest that it's done without justification. A better way would be to describe her as the most criticised person in the entire world, and of course that criticism is entirely justified. Or are she and Prince Harry, as Spotify exec Bill Simmons deemed the couple after their scrap deal with the platform, fucking grifters? Even Bethany Frankel weighed in on it this week, saying, I think the reason this one's wife can't win for losing is that there is a lack of identity and understanding as to exactly who she is to the audience. No, on the contrary, there is a complete understanding as to what she is, and the reason she can't win is because plenty of people are either not interested in her because they see her as a vacuous fame whore, or they positively dislike her because they've seen how she behaves time and time again. The reason she doesn't succeed is nothing to do with a lack of identity. The reason she doesn't succeed is entirely a consequence of her behaviour. This one's wife is said to be going back to her roots with her new Netflix show. What's that? That she's always been a home entertainer and cook? No. But she faces an uphill battle to prove that she can truly be authentic. Well, in actual fact, that is an insurmountable problem that she has because she's wholly inauthentic. It then talks about the video on Instagram that revealed that she was rebranding, and it contrasts that with the ball gown video from March 2024. She doesn't claim to be perfect, the TV insider added. That's what the gist of the show is. She's just having fun. Oh, but she does claim to be perfect, because that's what her narcissism tells her, that she's beyond reproach, that anybody that criticises her isn't allowed to do so because she is wonderful. She is wholly incapable of accepting any form of criticism, most of it entirely justified, because her narcissism rejects it as part of its role as a defence mechanism. With Love, Meghan will apparently present an earthy version of This One's Wife, cooking, gardening, hosting and even beekeeping, albeit with celebrity friends popping in sometimes. One of them, Mindy Kaling, even seemed to help promote This One's Wife desired image this week, telling Time, "I think a misconception about This One's Wife is that she's in any way fussy or has an expectation of fanciness. The show is really her being in her own space and doing her thing. It's such a joyous show. But there is a snag." Sources explained that the As Ever lifestyle products won't be ready for sale until a few months after the show's launch, once again demonstrating the uselessness of This One's Wife. It then talks about the fact that she's teamed up with Netflix, but there aren't going to be any pop-up installations or branded cafes at malls across the country. It makes reference to the lifestyle blog The Tig, and then spoke about her teasing in relation to the relationship. He makes just a brief cameo, Prince Harry, in her new show. However, the As Ever logo includes a palm tree in a nod to the Sussex's California home, along with 2 hummingbirds, a favourite of Prince Harry's, an insider told People. "Harry is a true partner," said a source who knows the couple. "He's happy that This One's Wife is sharing this part of herself again. Inspiring people with beautiful ideas is one of her greatest passions." Or, in other words, it's now her greatest passion, because before it was being a writer, and then before that it was being a fashion icon, and then there was being a politician, and then there was being a bananatarian and a philanthropist, and then it was safeguarding people online. Now it's her greatest passion is inspiring people with beautiful ideas, which will last a picosecond until it fails, and then she'll be on to the next thing. In many ways, this show is now going back to the beginning of their love story, the article states. Really? I don't recall her popping up, presenting homemaking. It was a blog that she had, which was about travel, food, and occasionally talking to semi-famous people. Completely different. The fact is, this article summarises many of the problems that she's had, but this suggestion that This One's Wife is somebody that isn't known because people don't understand what she is evidently an attempt by certain parties and reported by Page 6 in an attempt to, again, rebrand her. Oh, everything you've seen before, just ignore all of that. That's not her. People have a misconception about who she is. Strike all of that. It's a little bit like going, your personality has buggered things up at least 7 times previously, so just write all of that off and do so under the banner of, you don't understand who I am, you don't really know who I am, and now you're getting to see who I really am, that I'm joyous, and I'm going back to my roots, and this is what I'm all about. It's a return to the beginning of the love story. It's just more manipulative nonsense spouted by this manipulator. A further attempt to try and dispel the threats to control that exist as a consequence of people having found her out. Let's have a quick dive below the line to see if people are taken in by this hogwash of her changing and suggesting that people don't really know her. Charmaine writes, "She jumps from one project to the next faster than I can change my hairstyle. Who are the people investing in her record-failing projects?" Sandra Arnoux, "I think we already know who and what she is. Carefully placed crockery elevated with mint sprigs while she swans about in a rented kitchen will change nothing." Ophelia replies, "She bullies staff. That's who she is." Montrelaise, "In the past 5 years, This One's Wife has shown us exactly who she is. The authentic This One's Wife is a woman who has abused her and her husband's elderly relatives, has dropped friends when they were no longer useful, insists on using royal titles she was given by a family she says she despises, and has tried to convince us she is kind, warm and compassionate when she is none of those things." SM, please. We've seen this woman speak about herself on so many occasions. We know who she is. She's like the co-worker everyone can't stand, but for some inexplicable reason, bosses keep giving her opportunities. Netflix is to blame for pushing this aging embarrassment onto those of us who can see right through her. Gordon of America, "I think This One's Wife show should be called People Who Know Me Don't Like Me, or Nobody Likes This One's Wife. With her, it's like the old phrase, to know me is to love me, but in reverse." Oh, Canada, she might work hard to come off that way, but there is nothing mysterious about her. She has been revealing her true self for over 5 years now, and we all know how she operates. Avalon Shores. If you have to prove that you're authentic, then you are not. You can't wear authenticity like a suit. There is one person, Christy Oldman, that lists all of the criteria for narcissistic personality disorder to demonstrate quite clearly what she is, bringing up once again that she is a narcissist. USAF, retired. I'm not curious about who she is. We've been inundated with her nonsense for years now. And if she's going back to her roots, that means her dad and family too. I bet she won't. She tried to have childhood photos of herself blocked because of her natural hair and darker skin tone. Meanwhile, we've seen enough to know we don't like her, save a few celebrities dwindling and about 3 people who comment here. Fact is, people recognise that she is unlikable, and they do so, again, based on the way that she has behaved. They realise that she is an unpleasant, vacuous, empty, bullying, nasty individual. And her attempts to try and change all of that by saying you don't know who I really am and getting a few people to support that with quotations and sound bites clearly hasn't worked. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.